Hello and welcome. Today is January 13th. We are already 2 weeks into the new year. My name is Kristen. I'm with the Online Selling Show. This means it's a new week of a vlog. This vlog is here documenting how I've started a business in June of 24 and I will be growing it to a six-figure income. I plan to use the 22 years of experience I've had on an e-commerce selling platform that I have been using as my family's sole source of income, but I'm starting over again, and I'm using this vlog to document what all the trials, the tribulations, the mind games that are going on with me, where my level of thinking is and how to create that, and I'm welcoming you to come along on the venture with me, see how it can be done. Or in 2 weeks to the new year. It is amazing. I did some videos right after the holiday, and it just seems like it was yesterday about being able to finally exhale from the rush of the season. And truthfully, that was like 3 weeks ago. Wow, time flies. I made mention back then that I was planning how I was going to implement things for the new year. You can't wait for the new year to start because like right now it is 2 weeks into this new year. Unbelievable. What do I have going on this week? This week started off on a phenomenal step already. My son has been looking to transfer out of a college in Tampa to a university close by because he is going into engineering, and this is just a school that is more academically geared for that engineering degree. And we finally got heard this morning that they are transferring. They're going to allow him to transfer in. But that is phenomenal. He will be starting almost as soon as we get back. I mentioned many times now that we will be leaving to go do this shopping at a merchandise mart. We leave Thursday morning. You know, you can plan things and then you have to live these things. Planning sounded great. You know, we're going to leave at 5:30 in the morning. By the time we get down there, get you registered, check the luggage, get the cab to the plate, all that. We'd have a whole day of shopping. And now it's like, wow, we're going to have to get up at 1 or 1:30 in the morning. And I'm like, why am I even going to bed? I mean, I mentioned before, I am a person that you leave me long enough. I am a night owl. I could be up to 2 or 3 in the morning. I guess that's flight down is going to be where I'm going to sleep. I don't know, but I am going to be thankful. I really am going to be thankful when we get down there that I have that full day, because I have done it where I've taken the later flight down, and it does get a little bit more tricky trying to connect up with my vendors and stuff because I'm not having a full day and trying to give them the, like, I may be there at 1:30-ish. They don't want to waste that time of the afternoon. That could be meeting with somebody else. But what if I tell them if I should be there between like 9 and 10, they still have the whole rest of the day. It's a little bit different. I do feel like we're ready. I do feel like I've gotten the orders together, and that's what's going on in the wholesale business world. Like I said, it's going to be in the front seat for a few more weeks because of this just rush of trying to get the orders in and that kind of stuff. But honestly, once we get back, there'll be a little bit more follow-up needed, and then I can really devote myself to the vacation. I'll be honest, the vacation's going to be there because I probably will be going to that in the middle of February, and it's not going to be long after I get home from that. But we've had a lot of good discussion between my son, my husband, and I, and we're really projecting out how we can use that business, and we're planning to use it a lot more in what we can do, dovetailing it to trying to do some clearance and stuff, or handling that damaged stuff out of the wholesale business. And my son has been working very diligently to get the inventory condensing and stuff done on the wholesale business. And usually by now, the second storage container that I have rented to handle all of the influx of goods coming for Christmas would be getting scheduled for a pickup. But with what we have going on and the way that we're like restructuring things in the warehouse for what we want to liquidate out, we really haven't been making it the priority to get rid of that storage container. And now with my son's idea of moving this stuff from the basement that's for this new eBay store into that storage container, I'm actually thinking that it may be good for my business, being the storage, this new eBay, the online selling show, to take over the rental from that storage container, get myself set up with, and I have the stuff. I am thinking, because I have the stuff, to use all of the things I have for backdrops and lighting and what have you, set myself up a regular photo studio right there for these goods. Get myself the shelving out there. If I have to get myself a few other, I've used the plastic shelving from like the Home Depot or something to get them out there. May not be a bad idea, so I can get the stuff out of the house, get it all there and straightened out. I think it'll give me a good place where I can do the videos and have everything in one area, one defined area. And then for next year, my son is really wanting to make it a point that we don't have to put the store on a vacation mode, that it just becomes another influx of goods to pack. And I know my sourcing, I already kind of talked about the sourcing I want to do. I don't want to get these big problematic things for packing. The smaller things like the figurines and all that I got may require a little bit more for the bubble wrap and whatever to pack, which I mentioned previous does take a little bit. It's not the muscle memory is the way I say it, but we are packing so many fragile items in the wholesale business that they do know how to do it. And my son's point is we just need to make it part of it, and he doesn't mind doing it. So I think we're going to give that a shot. I think we're going to give that a try. But with him going back to college, we have 3 days that I know I can focus his attention to dealing with this business. And I don't even know if I'm going to get the full 3 days, because honestly, he needs to start contacting the college and figuring out what the classes are going to be, because it starts in exactly a week. So I'm hoping I can get through all of the other inventory and things like that. So I'm going to get myself home now and get started in trying to deal with that. I will be back for a midweek check-in. That's basically whatever I have that happens before we can leave. I will get some video when we're there. It's a lot. I'm just telling you, it's a lot of mental space that you need to handle these things going down there. Wait till you see. Today is the 15th of January. We are getting ready to go shopping for Christmas. I'm so excited. I just love Christmas. Can you tell? You would think I had enough by now. Realized as I've been uploading my videos and editing them, I've been talking a lot about getting ready with these orders to go, but I haven't talked about all the other things involved in preparation to go. And you may think, well, Kristen, you're talking about an eBay store where you're out at state sales and yard sales. What does going to this have to do with anything? And I want to ask if you just bear with me at the end. I will tell you where I feel there is a benefit for you, but I think you need to go through some of the hearing of what I'm doing to be able to fully understand what I'm talking about at the end of this. In the weeks leading up to this, one of the first things I did was I got the hotel reservation, the airfare, and I did rent a scooter because it is going to be a lot of walking. There is 3 skyscrapers full of showrooms there, and I will park that in the hallway and do the walking because I still have hours of walking through the showrooms, but this will at least cut down on some of that walking. Both my son and my husband are very fit, and I'm telling you, they're going to feel the effects of that. Then I also made a point that all of us were registered. We've been there before. It didn't seem to be much problematic in that. Me being me, I have to make sure I printed everything out for all of this. This will be going with us. Another thing I had to make sure for myself, and I'm sure I know from the conversation that they did as well, we just looked at what we had for clothing. I don't really feel that shoes, people judge you if you're not there in dress shoes and that. It's a very business casual environment. I've been dealing with the same vendors and the same people for so long. It's kind of take me as you get me at this point. But I will have nice dark denim jeans on, not ripped. And I'll have a nicer blouse type of shirt on, dress shirt for my husband and my son. My shoes are usually new sneakers type of thing. And then having looked at that part of it, I also had to make a point that I went and bought these new charging blocks because we got these new iPhones that have different charging cords. And when I tell you that these buildings drain your battery, it's insane. Like in 2 to 3 hours, you can have a fully charged battery and it is dead. We will have with us cords because some of the vendors will let us charge our phones behind in the registration desks. But we also have them with us just for walking around. And I did make sure I got the higher, whatever they are, wattage, whatever it is, that will provide 2 to 3 charges because we will need them. I'm telling you, it's going to be that bad on the battery. I also made sure I bought a new microphone that will fit this phone, and had to do things like, make sure my sister's coming in to feed my cats while I'm gone. And we talked about how we're going to be preparing to get there. We will be leaving probably around 2. We do not plan to check any bags. We get there and I want to be able to get right over to the mart. I don't want to be waiting for things like luggage that can be delayed. And we don't need that much stuff, truthfully. So we were only going to have our carry-ons, and I will have a backpack with me. This is one I take almost every time I've traveled having to do with the business, because in that bag is my earplugs and my chewing gum for the plane. In there, I will put my 3-ring binder that has every piece of printed paper that I think I could possibly need for this trip, between the registrations and all that stuff and reservations. There will be copies of the physical inventory that my son took, anything I've done already placing orders, and I will fit my pocketbook in there. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I have a neck pillow that one of my vendors gave me for the airplane, and I guess that's everything in the bag. That will fit under the seat for me. That'll be considered my personal bag. Oh, my lanyard is in there that I got from one of my vendors, and that is great. I've had that for years. Not just the badge fits in it, but a pen, my business cards, and the cell phone will fit in there. I'm going to have to make sure I have like all the business cards, because every time I think I have them, I end up not having them and needing them, or vice versa. It's just Murphy's Law. My husband has some. I'll probably make it a point to put some of those in there in case he feels the need to want to give anything out for any of the discussions he's having with people. And then I will also take the business paperwork for the incorporating and all that stuff, just in the event something happens, because that's just my personality, making sure everything doesn't have a problem with registration, or if we want to open a new account, I have all that stuff. So those are the things I'll pack in there. I think I talked about the charging block will be in there. I will be making a point to take the prescription drugs that the doctor gave me last year that are like 800 milligrams, so that when my knees start screaming, I can take something, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a ton of walking. We will be in there from 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, and then have to go to dinners and things like that. I will have to make probably at least one reservation for dinner one night, because it will be tens of thousands of people there. And the last day that we're there, my understanding is there will be people coming in for some kind of college football bowl game or something. So there will be a lot of people in the area. And to leave, we'll do the same. We'll just that morning go down. We will bag check all of our luggage at the hotel's valet bellhop area, go shopping for the day, come back, and have them call us a taxi to take us back to the airport, and then head home, get our car out of long-term storage, and come home. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be fun, but it'll be work. And hopefully at the end of this, we will have, like I said, 95% of our Christmas orders in place for next year. And when I'm talking about, like, why would this benefit you if you're in the world of buying stuff, let's say estate sales and thrift stores, I'm telling you that there's nothing that can compare to you going. If they have anything local to you, I highly recommend you travel. There's a lot of these different trade shows open all across the country, and going there and seeing and touching and feeling these brands, if they're ones that you readily see out there or ones that you have an interest in, highly recommend that you go, get the credentials, go. It's not just going to help solidify to you that you are a business person. Some people think they're just selling junk. No, these are things that were very valuable at some point. People bought them, they wanted them, and there's still a lot of value to be made. And sometimes being there and talking, you're going to be talking to the actual brand reps, not necessarily a salesperson. There's a lot that they can convey to you in the making of their products, or things to look for if it's items that you're constantly feeling are being knocked off. Just go, talk, educate, learn. You can look at it as a day of learning, and the only money that you would have to spend is getting yourself there and home, and maybe some food. The thing I can tell you also that I didn't touch on, I should have said it, was if I was checking a luggage, I would be taking things like the Boost with me, or possibly some different snacks. These showrooms will have drinks and snack foods in them. The one night, I believe, is Friday. They're going to be, the one vendor we're going to see is going to have a whole like Mexican night with tacos and stuff. With COVID, I have noticed a complete shift of the type of foods that they made available. They became a lot less plentiful, and the things they had were all individually packaged. I don't know where we're going to see that at this time, if it's going to open itself back up again to having those more buffets type of foods and more of the party trays available for you to pick from. I'll have to report back on that. But if you're going local, you can take food with you into these places. You don't have to spend the money that's there. Most of them will have foods in there. I've seen everything from regular chain places in there, and then it being more just mom and pop local people that opened up a booth or food truck that's in or around there. So it could be anything. You'd have to do your own investigating for that. But I hope this gives you some idea, and I really recommend that you try and go. If you can get the credentials and go, it's definitely going to benefit you. It may not benefit you directly with the specific brand that you talk to, but the more brands you start talking to, the more language you start taking in from what they're talking about, the more things you can start understanding with the production and what to look for is going to help you in this world of reselling, because there's so much out there. Sometimes you don't know how to discern or how to start, where to go with an education in brands and products. That may be a good place to get started. I hope this gives you some inspiration, but I am now off. I have some shopping to do. I will catch you in the wrap up. There will definitely be a shopping video coming for this one, because there's going to be so much good stuff. So my wrap up for the week is I accomplished what I set out to be, which was just getting through all of that ordering. And we did come in, yesterday being Sunday, we came in earlier than expected because, I don't know if you're catching it, we did get some of the snow. That was a storm they were expecting, and the flights, they wanted us to come in earlier, just on the expectation they may have to cancel things, which was fine. We were ready to come home. My assessment after having been to the show, lots of affinity mirrors coming in. The general consensus for Christmas for me is still going to say nutcracker, candy, gingerbread being big. I do believe that a lot of these vendors are still being conservative, and by that I mean they're not really offering a huge selection as some of the years in the past I've seen, but they have a nice selection out there. I see quite a few new items I think is going to be good. What does that mean for those of us in the reselling world? I think this is still going to give us a lot of really good opportunity because they're still staying conservative. Buyers are still going to want that unique nostalgia, plethora of options, and they're going to be coming to the secondary market of eBay anyway. One of the things I have been noticing regarding any of it is the trends in my son's generation. He's 22. They're looking for a lot of vintage and nostalgia anyway. I think he does more in the thrifting world than I ever had done, that I ever remember. I mean, it wasn't a thing. I'm Generation X, so we just got hand-me-downs because that's what you got. But there is definitely going to be some opportunity. My plan in the next coming weeks now, so I feel like I can exhale. Let me end this week with what sales were. I do have some decent sales still, but I feel that the lack of consistent listings is affecting things. Let me get into the sales and then tune in for next week for my plans now. What does this mean moving forward? So I'm back to go over the sales that I had for the week of January 13th to January 19th of 2025. For this particular week, we had a gross sales of $400 even, with the net sales of $204. The average gross sale is $40, with $20.36 as our average net sale. This is exactly where I would like to be as far as the amount I'm going to be averaging per sale. The net profit margin here is 51%, with an average net profit margin is 55%. Yard sales are again winning this week as being the #1 item of where I source these goods from. Facebook Marketplace is also in second, with the estate sales coming in at third. I do only list on eBay. I have not bought anything new. The cost of goods for what's sold was $75.04. Marketplace fees were $62.85, and shipping label fees was $58.42. We had a total of 11 items per sold during this period of time, and you can see again I am running a sale over the weekend, and that seems to be where I'm getting most of my sales from. We had a few other sales in here. A couple days I didn't make any sales, but I again am still not listing. I'm happy to be selling anything. There has been an average now of 5 months to get goods sold. Makes sense because I haven't listed anything basically in November, December, and now we are more than halfway through January. So 2.5 months, not bad. The return on investment, the ROI, is basically almost 200%, or the average is almost 2,000. So let's get into what the sales were. Okay, the lowest item I sold this particular time period was this vintage push pin ornament. I bought a huge lot of these from someone that was liquidating their mother and sister's estates. It was at a community sale. I have sold quite a bit of stuff. There's probably been something almost every week now coming up from this estate sale. I've gotten to a point where I was really considering just putting these together as a lot and selling them that way. Somebody submitted an offer for me on this, and that's what I accepted it. I will go through the actual numbers here on this item, and then in the other ones, I'll just go over the highlights. This particular item was purchased on October 17th, 2024. It was listed for 3 months, saying it took 4 days for me to get it listed. And down in here is what the purchase price was. I got such a great deal on this whole grouping of stuff. There was so much other stuff I got at this estate or this yard sale. I only paid 8 cents. Yes, that is 6, 7, 8 cents on that. The way this breaks down is I collected $12.50 total on this item. That was a $6 offer that they made, and I just took that because I'm starting to want to get these goods gone. I want to get everything that I've had previously listed sold, start running sales, and then make donations in the next several weeks and months. And I'm willing to just take anything at this point to get my money back. There was $6.50 for shipping that was collected on this. Here again is where they're saying it took 3 months on eBay to sell. This breaks down to a 40 cents fixed final value fee, which is a bank transaction fee that eBay charges for the collection of the $12.50 to come out of the buyer's account and be deposited into mine. The $1.61 here is a fixed final value fee, which is basically the commission that I am paying to eBay, which is usually roughly about 15% of the total cost that they collect, which is the $12.50. The cost to ship this item, the actual cost was $4.25. So this left me with a net return of $6.16. Not bad. Basically, that is all profit. I pretty much got this item for free. The ROI was 7,700%. or a net profit margin of 49%. Honestly, I don't know how they get to that, but anyway, that is my lowest selling item for the week. Now let's go and see what else we got in here. This was an item. I went to buy some stuff off of somebody from Facebook Marketplace, and she threw this in for free. It is what is known as a mantle scarf. It's basically like a table runner that you put on your fireplace mantle, and this decorative piece here where the hearts are will hang over the edge or the lip of the mantle. It's just a decorative piece. I did list this just because it does have some value. And for me, like I said, it was free. I did put a purchase price of $1 in there. I averaged that out for the total amount of what I got at the transaction. I bought, like I said, 4 stocking holders, I believe. And this particular item, it did take 3 months to sell, and I got $8.86 back. I just tell you, always make a point to list, even if you think it's not that high of a cost, because you will get some decent returns back when you have them priced correctly and you didn't pay a lot of money for them. This particular item did have, I think it was sold on a sale, one of the weekend sales, for $12.70. Next few items in here are the paper that I sell out of my hobby business. Then there's another item I bought. This was bought probably the first weekend I started going to the yard sales, and it did take 6 months to sell. I bought this for $1. It's a very primitive looking Santa Claus, very rustic looking, and they bought this on one of my weekend sales as well for $16.69. Took 6 months to sell, but I was able to take my $1 and basically get back almost $14 for it. So still something worthwhile. I was very happy. Here was another item that I had said before to keep your eyes out for, these Americana. I bought these at Goodwill trip, one of the first ones that I went to. You can see I purchased this on June 28th. This was one of the very first trips I made, and I really had no idea what I was doing. I bought these for a purchase price of $4.25, and I was able to sell them for $14.99. I have been marking them down, trying to get them out of here, and I don't feel bad getting $10.50 back for something that I was getting almost to the point of thinking I was going to have to donate. Again, it did take 7 months to sell, but they have a new home, so I was happy for that. Then we're getting into what is the top 3 that would be out there, because one of the items in there is my paper, and again, I don't bring that up much because the likelihood of you finding that is very rare. So I'm going to consider this my number 3 highest selling item. This was an item I bought at the community sale where there was like 95 houses. It was up in Lancaster. I bought this for, I thought it was like $1.71. And it did take 6 months to sell, but I bought them in July 23rd. I knew I was going to be sitting on them for a little while. She does have a little bit of damage in the pigtails. These are very thin. They're on wire. It's like plaster over wire, basically. And they bought this over the weekend when I was running a sale for $21.40. I, again, was not aware that my shipping had been set so high. This was very early on. I was able to ship for $4.43, so you can see where there's a difference. But I made a net return of $23.51. Had I probably thought about it, I probably would not be putting Valentine's stuff on sale right now, but I don't care. I got this so cheaply that it's good. I'm very happy with that. Here is another item that I was happy to sell. I think I paid too much for this. I bought this at an estate sale back in September. I bought these for $18,
And somebody came in over the weekend on the sale and bought them for $44.38.9. And it took 4 months to sell, but I wasn't expecting that anybody was really going to be looking at that until this time of year. And my $18 came back and doubled. I got $20.52. Very happy because these were something I'm still trying to figure out. I see Emily dolls so much that I'm starting to try to want to figure out how to assess what's going to be good or not. And this is just basically paying for my education. Doubled my money, can't be going wrong. The number one selling item for the week is this ceramic vintage. It basically should be a Christmas tree, but they painted it this like pearlized white color. There is heart-shaped light, the peg lights that are in there. The base was painted red, so it's just white and red. And somebody was back and forth with me on this concerning an offer. I had it listed for, I believe, $129.99, yes. And they kept putting offers. We finally settled at $85. And it wasn't until I got home from being away for the weekend or the week on that buying trip that I realized why she was saying that was the most she could pay. I didn't realize that the $71.10 was in there for shipping. That was crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. I believe it was based on box size versus weight. And this was bought on July 8th. This was one of the first weekends I was out there yard sailing. It was purchased for $50. I did pay quite a bit for it. And I was able to bring back $66.43. They do deduct out of there my purchase price. So keep that in mind. It is not like I just barely made my money back. No, I got my $50 back plus the $66.43. I consider that a win-win. This person seems to be very ecstatic and excited to get this, and this is going out in today's mail. So I hope you enjoy looking at the items and my numbers here. I will say bye for now, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.